guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new, and welcome back to another reading wrap up. So today we are going to be going over all the books that I read in April and May, I'm pretty sure, because it's June. Yeah, I got behind on my little reading wrap-ups, my monthly resets, honestly everything, for two reasons. I feel like one, towards the end of April, I feel like I started going into a little reading slump. I know, after January, February, March, and April were all like honestly really good reading months. I feel like for me, I started off the year on like such a reading high. It did catch up with me, I fear. So I've been kind of fighting for my life through that, but I also just feel like through the month of May and honestly still in the beginning of June, my mental health has just been slowly declining, and this literally happens to me every single year around this time of year. I don't know what it is. It's literally just like I get the summertime sadness, like I don't know. So I'm just over here fighting for my life, but I wanted to talk to you guys about the books that I read in April and May. That way hopefully we can start making our comeback through June, because I really think that getting back into reading and having my little hobbies through my summertime sadness will hopefully, fingers crossed, help me through the summer. But yeah, I'm just like struggling over here. Like, why is it already 120 degrees outside? Somebody get me out of here. I need to move states. But moving on. Starting off, I want to go over my monthly stats, obviously, for both April and May. Starting off with the month of April, I read 5 books, 1 romance, and 4 fantasies. I read a total of 2,611 pages. The longest book that I read was 803 pages, and the shortest book that I read was 336 pages. My average rating for the month was 4.85, so like a really good reading month, I feel like. This is why I'm so sad that I'm like in a slump, but it's okay. Lastly, 4 out of the 5 books that I read were from my physical TBR, and only 1 book was not from my physical TBR that I like bought and like added to my shelves. But as we all know, that does not count towards my 2025 physical TBR, like books that started on my shelves in the beginning of the year. Then for the month of May, I read 3 books, 1 romance and 2 fantasies. The longest book that I read was 805 pages, and the shortest book that I read was 352 pages. So honestly, really similar to April. My average rating was 4.41 stars, which is, I feel like, still really high for me, like going into a slump. I just feel like I was having a hard time finding books that would keep my interest to like actually finish them. Like that is kind of what started happening in April, but the books that I did finish, I clearly enjoyed. And then in April, 1 out of the 3 books that I read was from my original 2025 physical TBR, and 2 were not. So I feel like I have been doing pretty good on trying to get through my physical TBR. I know I could be doing a lot better. I have already bought a lot more books this year than I was planning on whenever we went into 2025. So there's that, but I am still trying my best to prioritize my physical TBR. It's just Libby has so many books, and like I get so many books from Hoopla from the library, so it's just like that honestly is what gets my physical TBRs. Whenever I'm able to find random books from the library, I'm just like, well, I could read it right now on my Kindle. So yeah, I don't know, I need to get better. I really have been in my Kindle era, so I need to start getting back into like the physical copy grind. Moving right along, let's get into some of the book reviews for the month. First book that I have is Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. This is the second book in the duology following Heartless Hunter, which, as we all know, I read Heartless Hunter, I believe it was like at the end of last year. I think it was in November maybe. Loved it. 5 stars, and Rebel Witch was a very, very highly anticipated new release for me for this year. So I'm so glad that it did not disappoint. I rated this book 5 stars. I just love this so much. There's something about like the witchy vibes that is just so perfect. If you don't know what Heartless Hunter is about, essentially it's set in a society where witches have been outlawed and the witch queen has recently been overthrown. And so in the society that they live in, they're still trying to like fully get rid of all the witches in the society now that they have been overthrown and outlawed and are seen as like kind of like evil, I guess. And so within that we have our main character Rune, who is obviously a witch, but she's a witch undercover. So she actually is like a very like highly esteemed member of society. She's very wealthy, like people love her in high society, but nobody knows that she is a witch. She's been able to successfully hide it, and so she kind of lives like 2 separate lives. Like she goes to all of these parties and tries to gather information on witches that have recently been captured and all this stuff, but then in secret she is the rebel witch, and she will go and try and either help witches escape if she hears that they're going to try and be captured soon, or if they have recently been captured, she will try try to like help them escape from the prison and get off of the island so that they can flee to safety. So with that being said, it eventually turns into kind of like a cat and mouse thing, because as she's getting older, people are kind of like, you know, she's this high member of society, like she needs to get married, why is she not taking a suitor, like all this stuff. And so she's like, okay, if I have to get married, I'm gonna pick whoever I can get the most information from, which leads her into pursuing the captain of the Blood Guard, essentially the people who are in charge of hunting down all of the witches, so that she can get the most amount of information as possible from her marriage. On the other hand, she doesn't know that he has been suspicious of her being the rebel witch, and so he agrees to pursue her to try and basically like unmask her as the rebel witch. So it leads to this like really good cat and mouse thing where they're both kind of going after each other and trying to get information out of each other, but neither of the other person knows that they are like doing this to each other, you know what I'm saying? And it's just so good. The tension is so good. I feel like it was so like romantic, but not in like a typical like romantic way, if that makes sense. Like it just, I don't know, these books have such a distinct feel and such a distinct vibe. I love the setting of these books. I think what it's called is like Regency, like it's kind of giving Regency era, because they obviously have like parties at their house and they'll be like dancing and wearing their big gowns and stuff because she's a member of high society. So I don't know, I love these so much. Honestly, I would love to reread these eventually. I think that they are so good, and I loved the way that this ended. I loved the little like kind of adventure that we got to go on in the second book and like see a little bit more of the world. Yeah, I just thought it was so good. I highly recommend this series. So good, like just so good. I love this. After that, we have From Blood and Ash, which I also rated 5 stars. This was so good. This was one of those books where it's like it's been sitting on my shelf for over a year and then you finally read it and it's like, I'm so mad that I waited so long to read it. This one, if you don't know what it is about, I don't want to say too much because honestly, I feel like part of the fun of it, at least for me, was going into it like absolutely completely blind and trying to figure out like what is going on basically the entire time. Basically, in this book, you are following your main character, Poppy, and in the very beginning of the book, you are told that she is something called a maiden. It's not really explained to you like what a maiden is, so there's kind of like a lot of mystery about like what exactly is the maiden and like the purpose that the maiden serves. Essentially, all you know about it is that because Poppy was chosen like at birth, I'm pretty sure, to be the maiden, she's lived a extremely closed off life. She has to like wear a veil over her face anytime that she goes out. She can't really ever like interact with people. Like she's not allowed to talk to anybody. She's not allowed to sit and play card games. Like she literally cannot do anything. She just has to spend her life pretty secluded and just like studying. And it's really interesting because like she doesn't even really know like what her purpose is. All she knows is that she was chosen as a maiden from birth. She has to live her whole life studying, secluded, kept kind of like pristine. She doesn't really have any friends. She's never really gotten to experience any type of love. And all that she knows is that she is spending her whole life prepping to go through what is called the Ascension, which again, that's another thing where it's like you're told that the Ascension is a thing, but it's like literally the entire book you're like, what is the Ascension? Like literally, what are you talking about? What is going on here? And it's just like a huge mystery. So that's all I'll say about like the premise of this book and kind of like what you're following. I know that that's like super vague, but I feel like that's the best way to go into this book, not really knowing much, because part of the whole thing is just trying to figure out like what are these people talking about and what is going on. So highly recommend. I loved the way that this ended. I did not see it coming at all, and I just really liked the writing style of this world and like the way that the world felt. I'm really excited to get farther into this series. So that is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Then we have Legendborn. I actually read this one in my very first Read Or Haul It video. I had so much fun doing that, and like this is a reason why I'm so glad that I decided to do the Read Or Haul It challenge, because this book was just so intimidating to me. Like I don't know how much longer it would have taken me to pick this up. This is another one that was like on my shelf for so long and I just like would never pick it up. It just was intimidating. I don't know why it intimidated me, but it did. So essentially in this book we are following our main character, Bree. She is a very gifted teenager, and she ends up getting accepted into this like very prestigious college program, to where even though she's in high school, she gets to like go to a college and do like an accelerated program. I'm pretty sure that's like what it is. All I know is that she's very smart. She got accepted and she gets to go live on campus at the college and do like, they're not college courses, but it's like a special program where it's like you are at the college doing accelerated classes. Essentially, she goes there, and as soon as she gets there, weird things start happening, and she essentially discovers like this entire secret society. And so you basically just follow her discovering that and trying to figure out like what is going on and like secrets are unveiled, and it's so good. And beyond that, I talked about this whenever I reviewed the book in that video, so if you want more in-depth thoughts on this book and like to see me reading it, I would definitely go watch that video. But the underlying theme of like womanhood in this book, and not just like womanhood, but like your ancestral ties, and like I don't even know how to explain it, but it was just so beautifully written. The way that grief was talked about in this book, and you get to really see our main character go through it, and like honestly I feel like really realistically kind of try and cope with your feelings and go through grief and go through all these changes and just like all this stuff. It just was so good, and the ending had me absolutely gagged. I mean, it was to the point that I was trying to finish this book and I was so like stressed out and angry and just like feeling so many emotions that I literally had to put the book down and pause and wait like 30 minutes before I could finish the book, because I was like, I'm actually feeling too much. Like, I cannot finish this right now. I need a break. So loved this so much. 5 stars for sure. I cannot wait to read the rest of this series. I believe that there's 2 other books that are currently out, and I think that there's supposed to be a 4th one coming out, question mark. I'm like 99% sure on that one, but very excited to continue on with this series for sure. After that, we have Savor It by Tara DeWitt. This is my second Tara DeWitt book that I have ever read. Obviously, everybody and their mother knows that the first Tara DeWitt book that I read was Left of Forever, which is actually the second book that comes in this little interconnected small town romance. So I did read it backwards. I read the second one first because I got an arc of it, and then I loved it so much that I went back to read the first one. So this one I ended up rating 4.25 stars. It was honestly a really solid, cute, small town romance. In this book, we are following our main character, Sage Bird. She lives in the small town of Spoons, which is really funny to me. It's supposed to be like a play off of Forks from Twilight, which I think is just like, that's so funny. And also I love that setting because I love Twilight. So I'm literally just picturing like all the trees and the mountainy little town, you know, all the stuff. But anyway, so we are following our main character, Sage Bird. She lives in Spoons, Oregon. It's like a really pretty coastal small town. And basically the plot of this book is Fisher Lange, I don't know how to say his last name. He moves into town from New York, and he is a not failing Michelin star chef, but he's going through it. His career is kind of crumbling around him, and to kind of like save his career, they send him from New York to the small town of Spoons to like get a break from the city life, calm down and try and fix your life, get your life together. You can work on this restaurant that we're trying to open in this small town, get yourself together, and then come back at the end of summer. So he's basically sent to Spoons to try and like help this restaurant succeed that they're trying to open in the small town. And the house that he ends up renting for the summer while he's there is right next door to none other than Miss Sage Bird. So it's kind of like he is her new grumpy neighbor next door, and they end up meeting in like such a funny, like out of pocket way. And then from there they kind of just like go back and forth and are kind of like not enemies, they kind of just like bicker, you know, like they're kind of just like, yeah, like bicker. He's just like the grumpy neighbor next door, and she has a lot of fun like pressing all of his buttons and like driving him crazy, which I think is so funny. Like the banter in this book was just so good. Like I was genuinely giggling and kicking my feet at some of the things that this man said. It was actually insane. I'm like, no way he just said that. There's no way he just said that. Anyway, I feel like that was a really unhinged and chaotic way to describe this book, but it was a really cute romance book. After reading the second and the first, I do think that it is beneficial to read this one and then Left of Forever. You can obviously pick up Left of Forever first if you like have heard how much I like that book and want to read that before this one, because obviously that's what I did and it was okay. But I will say, with this book being the first book in like an interconnected small town series, obviously I feel like you did get a lot more setup for the town of Spoons itself, and also a lot of the like supporting characters that are just like living in the town, they were like introduced in this book, whereas in Left of Forever they were just kind of mentioned and there was not really a lot of explanation as to like who the people were, which obviously makes sense. Like that was in this book, which is more of like the setup book for the series anyway. So love this though. I'm really interested to see like how many books end up being in this little small town series, because I know that Tara DeWitt is like known for always saying like, I'm never gonna do an interconnected series like that, but then she popped out with this one and is absolutely popping off with the first 2 books. So I'm very interested to see how many books end up being in this series. I would like there to be like 10, but we'll see how it ends up going. But yeah, love this so much. It was really good. Lastly, for the month of April, I finished my month off with Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. I know, I literally cannot believe the time has finally come that I'm finishing up Crescent City. Like, that's just so crazy, because I remember whenever I started ACOTAR, I was like, oh my god, there's so many books in the entire like Massiverse as a whole. It just felt so like daunting, but like it was such a journey to get here, and I have enjoyed every single second of the ride. Something about the Crescent City books, I don't even know what it is about it, but something about this series is so like comforting to me. Like these books in this world feels like a comfort read read to me, which is so insane to say because this is the thickest, most insane, like every single book is 800 pages. That's actually crazy, but I don't know, like something about the worlds, I just loved it. And I think one thing that I mentioned whenever I was talking about this book, maybe it was the second one that I was talking about it, but I do feel like one of the reasons why I feel so like emotionally connected to this series and this world and all of the characters is like because every single book is so long, I feel like there was a lot of room to get to like really know the characters like so deeply, and like we got to see so many almost mundane moments, if that makes sense, but it's like they literally feel real because of that. Like I feel like because there was just so much room for the characters to like really slowly grow and really slowly build connections with each other and just all that stuff, because all the books are so long, like nothing felt rushed, like everything just had such a long time to play out that like these characters are literally real in my brain. Like I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, this was 5 stars, needless to say. I loved it so much. If you don't know what Crescent City is, if you've read like ACOTAR and Throne of Glass, I feel like those two are very much more like, okay, we are in the mountains, we are like, I don't know, it's just like, it's not urban, okay? This is more of like an urban fantasy to where like there's cell phones, there's security camera footage, there's texting and emails, and they go to nightclubs, and like it's literally set in Crescent City, which if I can find a picture I'll put up here of like what I feel like the vibes of Crescent City, the city itself, is. In this book you are mainly following our main character Bryce Quinlan. I love her so bad, like I actually love her so much. I don't want to say too much because I obviously don't want to give anything away, and there's just like so much that happens in this book. What I will say is you're following our main character Bryce Quinlan predominantly. I feel like other honorable mentions that I have to bring them up is Rune and Hunt Athalar. Okay, look at these men. Read the book. Okay. Anyway, so we are following our main character, Bryce, and in the beginning of the book, you're introduced to her. You're just kind of like following her through her life. She's out partying with her bestie, and essentially something literally insane happens, and it's kind of like a mystery, and so you go into like trying to solve this mystery. Kind of. I don't know. I don't want to say too much and literally spoil like anything, but just trust. This is so good. It's so good. It is so intimidating because every single book is so long, but if you have similar taste to me, give it a try, especially if you've already read anything else like ACOTAR or Throne of Glass. Like it is so different than those books, like the vibes are so different, and it honestly is really weird at first. Like it did take me a little bit to adjust because it's like it's the same writing style as Throne of Glass and ACOTAR, so like it can be really weird to like still be feeling like, okay, yeah, I'm reading a Sarah J Maas book, but like the vibes are just completely different, so like that can be a little bit jarring and weird at first, but I feel like once you get used to it and you get sucked into this world, it's just so good. It's just so good. I cannot wait to reread the series because it's so good. Yeah, 5 stars. I'll stop yapping about it, but so good. Those are all the books that I read in April. So moving on to May, the first book that I read that I actually don't have a physical copy for yet was The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This was honestly like so interesting to read. I rated it 4.5 stars first of all, so really good. Wasn't quite a 5-star. I don't know like what was holding it back because I obviously love Hunger Games. It's such a good series, but like The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was just like, it was so weird because it's like we're obviously following President Snow, and like if you've read the Hunger Games previously, you know like where that goes and how he ends up, so it's like I'm not gonna sit here and root for you, but then it's like you're watching him and getting like a background on his story, so like I feel like it's like an internal battle because it's like I know that you are not a good person, you know what I'm saying, and I know like the chaos that you will cause later in your life, so like I hate feeling any type of empathy towards you throughout like following your journey or whatever, but I did really appreciate getting to see like into the background of his like upbringing and like I don't know, just get to like learn more about him, I guess. I don't know, it was such a weird feeling. I feel like it's just like whenever you're watching like a, what's it called, like a documentary on like a serial killer or something, and it's like you're learning about their childhood and you see like all the horrible things that they went through, and it's like, oh my god, like that's horrible, you know, but then it's like, but at the end of the day you murdered 20 women, so like what am I supposed to feel right now? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I feel like that's kind of an unhinged reference to make, honestly. But, I mean, He is a psycho. Like, he's a psycho. So, I don't know. The whole thing, it was very interesting, though. I really liked getting to also see, like, a past version of Panem. I felt like that was really interesting. Also, because, obviously, whenever you read The Hunger Games or watch the movies, it's, like, set in, like, their current time frame. So, like, everything is, like, so different. And it was just so weird also to see, like, the start of The Hunger Games and how much things have evolved and get to see, like, oh my god, that's who came up with that idea. Like, they're still using that in the current Hunger Games. Like, that's actually crazy. So, yeah, I don't know. Overall, I felt like it was really, really good. I do think that it is a beneficial read in the overall, like, Hunger Games series. I would really, really like to reread the Hunger Games books. I still need to read Sunrise on the Reaping. So I think because I read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and then I'm gonna read Sunrise on the Reaping, hopefully I can get in the mood to reread the Hunger Games series so I can kind of, like, read them in chronological order. But yeah, really, really good. I'm really glad that I finally read it. I did also, like, immediately after finishing the book, go and watch the movie. And honestly, I feel like they did a pretty good job of, like, turning the book into the movie for this one. I was, like, a little bit worried because I remember whenever I was in high school and I had read the third Hunger Games book and then went to the theater to watch it, I remember just, like, at the end of the movie being, like, so confused, and I was literally gaslighting myself in the theater because I'm like, did I just, like, skip over parts? Like, maybe I'm wrong. Like, I'm the one that is not remembering what actually happened in the books. Like, I was just so confused. So I was kind of worried that the same thing would happen. It would be, like, extremely different from the book or something like that. But I don't know. I feel like they did a really good job, like, kind of translating the book to the movie. So that's my take on that one. After that, I read King of Greed by Anna Hong. This was, like, so random for me because I haven't really read any other books. Like, I read Twisted Love forever ago, like, literally so long ago, and it was okay. It wasn't, like, my favorite romance. I just think I'm not really a huge fan of dark romance per se, or, like, I at least haven't found any dark romance books that I really like. So as of now, I don't think I'm a fan of dark romance. And that wasn't, like, people don't even really consider that true, like, dark romance. That's like dipping your toe in the kiddie pool, apparently. So I was like, yeah, I think that's enough for me. I don't know. I just, like, I didn't have any desire to really pick up any of the other books in that series as of now. So I never expected to be reading any of the books in the Kings of Wrath series, I think is what this is called. But I think because I've been talking so much about how much I liked Left of Forever and how I need to find more, like, second chance marriage books, this one ended up popping up on my TikTok feed. And then I fell down a rabbit hole of, like, looking up edits to the characters from this book and, like, different quotes from this book, and I was like, okay, I need to read it. Like, I need to read it. So this is, in fact, the third book in the Interconnected series. So again, I did kind of read it out of order, which does feel chaotic, but I did not have any desire to read any of the other books in the series, so that's why I did that. But yeah, this was okay. It definitely didn't, like, live up to my expectations. I think I did go into it with a little bit too high of expectations because I liked Left of Forever so much, but it was good. Like, it was good. I think I wanted more from it, and it didn't necessarily give me everything that I needed. But yeah, in this book, you're following our main character, Ollie. She has been married to Dom for, I believe it's 10 years. Like, they're coming up on their 10-year anniversary. They were together back when they were broke and struggling to make it, and he essentially becomes, like, a finance bro. Like, he's very successful, like, Wolf of Wall Street type of thing, like a bajillionaire, okay? Like, he's rolling in it, okay? Like, they're very, very well off, but he kind of has, like, gone too far the other way and has, like, prioritized his work over her more and more throughout the years. And essentially, at the beginning of the book, you find out that her final straw is that he ends up missing their celebration for the 10-year anniversary, so she asks for a divorce. And so in the very beginning of the book, they get a divorce, and you kind of follow him not being willing to let her go, essentially, and he, like, wants to work to earn her back. So that is what you're following in this book. I thought it was okay. I think it's still definitely worth reading. It was, like, a good romance book, but it's definitely not on the same level of Left of Forever for me at all. Like, Left of Forever is, like, actually tattooed on my soul. So that's just fun. After that, the last book that I read in the month of May was Crescent City, House of Sky and Breath. Obviously, this is the second Crescent City book, and once again, ladies and gentlemen, another 5 stars. The ending of this book literally had me, like, levitating. It was literally, like, midnight, and I had to, like, go out into the living room so that I could fully crash out over the ending of this book and let my husband sleep in peace in the room. Like, I was like, I cannot contain myself. Like, just, yeah. All I can say is, oh my god, you know? So good. It was so good. So I did immediately go into the third book, and I am almost done with that one, and it's looking like another 5 star. I just, like, again, something about this series is just, like, it feels, like, comforting, which is, like, so weird. I don't know if it's because, like, I know that it's, like, the last Sarah J. Maas world that I like haven't read or something, but it truly just feels like more than that. It's just something about the characters specifically in this book. I just feel like I just feel them so closely. Like I don't know how to explain it, but this series just like has a special place in my heart, and I don't know why. It just does. I just love this series. So that was the last book that I read in the month of May. I'm really hoping that I can get out of this little reading slump so far. I mean, we're like already halfway through the month of June, and I just finished my first book. So, yeah, I literally have been trying to film a reading new releases reading vlog since Fearless came out, and I ended up setting Fearless down because I could tell that I was like getting into a reading slump, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna ruin this for myself by trying to force myself to read it when I can feel that I'm like not fully in the mood for it, you know? So hopefully I can get out of my little funk and hopefully get into either some of the new releases that I want to read for that vlog, or I also have a lot of arcs on my Kindle currently, and I really want to do a video of reading like all the arcs that are currently on my Kindle. I feel like that'd be so fun, especially because a lot of the arcs that I have are like really highly anticipated books that are like the next in a series that I already love, so I feel like that is really exciting as well. So hopefully I can get to those soon and get those videos out for you guys so that we can yap about those. So yeah, if you are interested in hopefully seeing any of those videos coming up soon and you're not already, make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss future videos from me like those. Also, make sure you're following me on all my other social media platforms as well so that you don't miss anything over there either. But that is all I have for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!